Hey everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Sunny and I'm going to start a new playlist today that is called as Quickstart. In this one, I will be trying different packages, Python packages, which can be useful for us. Okay, so today I'm going to try about the diagrams. And one more thing I would like to tell you that let's say if you feel that okay there are more depth needed about any particular library or any particular packages that I'm going to discuss, so you can comment about that and I will try to create a separate playlist for that in-depth tutorial, and I will maybe try to customize that as well. Okay, so today is the first start, so we are going to pick up a diagrams library which is very interesting, and it is also going to be very useful for the especially for the people who do not like to draw block diagrams or maybe the architectural diagrams. They may not be that creative, so this library is going to be again interesting, and especially for the coders who do not like to draw or maybe like they don't want to create any architecture, but they are very good at writing code. So it's going to be very easy. So before even saying all those things, let me share my screen so that you guys can understand that what I'm trying to say. So right now I'm at diagrams official like documentation page. So I will put the link in the description again. So it's called as diagram as a code, right? So diagram as code again, it's a very fancy term that these days people are calling as a code. Okay, so everything as a code is actually again it's interesting for the people who are developer. So now let me show you that okay, what is possible with diagrams. Okay, so you may have seen this kind of architecture, right? On the extreme right, you will see that this is a GCP architecture. Then similarly, you may have seen for AWS. Similarly, you may have seen for other like platforms as well. So as you can see, it actually tries to diagrams currently support 6 major providers. It supports AWS, Azure, GCP, Kubernetes, Alibaba Cloud, Oracle Cloud, and on-premise nodes as well. And it is also support programming languages and frameworks. Okay, so if you just look into its documentation, so you will get all the details here, like especially about the nodes. So you can see all the details here. Okay, so let's check this out. Okay, so you can see all the details. And before jumping into this, let's try to first of all understand okay how you can install it. So one major dependency that you will find out about this is Graphviz. Okay, Graphviz is a library that actually on top of it this library is made. So you need to install this by using choco install Graphviz if you are using Windows. Okay, so you need to install or configure Chocolatey, and then based on that you can try to install this. And if you want to see more details, so you can even just look into the graphics. They have given the link in here, so right click and open. And so this is a graphics library, and if you want to install it, so you can just quickly, I think you can click on the downloads here and you will be getting all the like the way you can install Graphviz. Okay, so if you are on Ubuntu, so you can simply use sudo commands to install Graphviz, and similarly we have on Windows, you can even download the exe installer. So that's up to you, that's how you want to do it. So easiest way will be like if you have already installed Choco, so you can make use of that. And then once after that, so we can create any like environment, and then simply we will install diagrams by using pip install diagram. It's that simple. And then we can simply start using. So here quick start is given. It's a very normal one. So we'll try to like develop some slightly complex one. Okay. So let me show you that what I'm going to create at the end, right? So here we are. As you can see, this kind of diagrams you may have seen in many platforms, right? So like sometimes we feel like, okay, it may take time to build all these, but not now. Okay, so if you have a diagrams library, so you can definitely make use of it. Just a few lines of code and you can get this beautiful architecture diagram. Okay, so let me show you that how we can build this one. Okay. So now let's go to our GitHub. Okay, so I have my GitHub here. So yep. So we will create one repository for this one because that's a habit. Okay. And it's good habit that you always create a repository for your code. And because sometimes your computer may crash. So in that case, you have all the code safe here, right? In just one central location. So let's create one repository first. So here, as you can see, it will ask for the repository template. Okay, if you have not created a template, so it will not show you. Otherwise, what you can do is you can simply use my templates. Okay, so I can show you here. You can come to my GitHub repository. That is github.com/she17hawk. That is my alias. So you can use this username. And once you come here, so you will find out, you can just search for general template here. If you click one, so it's a public template, and just make use of this. Use this as a template. You can click here and you can make use of it. So templates is like kind of boilerplate. Let's say if you're doing any projects repeatedly or kind of projects repeatedly, so you will see that okay, there has to be like a starting point, right? So this template gives you a starting point so that you don't have to write the same thing again and again. So I will simply fetch create a repository in him here, like say diagram as a code. Okay, so that's all. I think in the description also we can mention the same. And public repository, I'm including all branches, that is fine. And we can create this repository from the template. So let's wait for a moment. Okay, so it has been completed now. So you can see it is generated from. So if you, let's say if I put this code as well, like this link, so you can even go to this, right click and then move to that, and you will be able to find this out general template. So you can make use of that as well. So right now we have a diagram as a code as a like repository. So this is the basic repository where I have configurations empty. If it is needed folder, maybe you can rename it later. Notebook folder for your research. Let's say if you are using Jupyter notebooks, and source folder where you can keep all your script files. So this is a general setup that I have in my most of my projects, and you will find it in most of the projects that you will see, especially Python projects, right? So we can clone this repository, and I'm at one of my folders here, new folder, and then I will just open terminal here, right click and enter the terminal. If you do not have a terminal installed, so no worries. So you can simply come here and then just write cmd and then press enter. So it will open a command prompt there itself. Okay, so you can hear what you can do is you can just write git clone, and for this you definitely need git, right? Or otherwise you can even like download it directly and unzip it here. So I'm doing it here, and let me know if you are not aware of how to use GitHub properly. So maybe you can even comment this out. So I will try to make a code or like some videos on that as well. Okay, so we have now, if you just check by dir command, so you will find that, okay, this directory is now here. So we will just simply, we will first of all clear screen, and okay, so now what we can do is we can jump to that. So cd and then diagram as a code cd, and that's all. So we are in the respective folder. Now what I can do is I can simply open VS Code here. So for that code and then space and then dot, that means I want to open VS Code in my current working directory. So that's all. So you have opened this one, and now we can start coding about that. So first thing you can see in most of the projects, you will find that there are requirements file, right? So you can just open the requirements file. So first requirement that we want to put is about that we want to install diagrams library, right? So as you can see here, if I go to the home page, so it says that pip install diagrams. So you will simply mention the diagrams. It will just quickly, it will open a diagrams. Okay, it will just install the diagrams from this requirements. If you have any other requirements, you can mention that here as well, list of requirements. And in the setup.py, I will make certain changes. So instead of simple template, I will call it as a, let's call it as a DAAC, or maybe instead of, okay, we have to give the exact name of it. So click on the terminal also, so that we can open a new terminal first of all. And here you can see, from here you can copy the folder name. Okay, and just mention it here, because that is the name of the repository that we have. Okay, I think we can remove this folder. Yep. User author name will be remain same, and rest of the things will remain as it is. I will not change much of it. Let's call it as a diagram as a code. Or maybe I can remove this, all this. Okay, just put diagram as a code, and I will keep the rest of things as it is. I will not change much of it. Okay, if you're not aware of this, don't worry. You can mention in the comments. You can definitely use. Let me know. Okay. And the main thing is that, okay, we have this src folder. We will be doing all the coding here. Okay, so in the src folder, and we can also get rid of all these like notebooks. We are not going to use even this empty folder. We're not going to use it. Even the configuration as of now, we are not using it. So we can just get rid of them, just delete. And we have now very simple, right? Now there is one more file here in its setup.sh. I use this shell script to create the environment, install the requirements automatically, because this set of commands I keep on running. So what I'm doing here is I'm choosing a next version, first of all, of that is 3.7 version. I'm using that version to install the Python environment, activating that environment, installing the requirements into that environment. And then I'm also creating certain folders which I may need. Okay, so this folders I'm trying to create here. Although you can see that, okay, all of them will not be required here. Okay, so I will just make use of few of them, like utilities. We are not going to use it as of now. So you can get rid of this part. Okay. And I think that's all. And I can get rid of other unwanted stuffs. That's all. So what it will do, it will create an environment and all. So for to run this file, you need to have a bash terminal, git bash terminal. And here I will write like bash init setup.sh. So it will do the job for me. Okay. It may take some moment until it is getting started. So I can let you know that what are the other folders here or files. So you can see there is a Git Ignore file. So let me slightly zoom in as well. Okay. So on the left hand side, you will see, okay, README file is there, as you're all aware. So we can just again mention here that it's a document that is diagram as a code. And what we did is like you can just simply, I will give you the link of the official library here itself. So, okay, so like let me copy that link. And this is about the installation. And you can mention that, okay, official docs. So for that, we can also mention the, it is going to be HTTPS again from here to till this.com/docs. That's all. So we have done all of the details, right? So we have installed the things, and now what we can do is we can create this in this main.py file. We will try to write our code first of all. So what we have to do is like before this, whatever we have done changes, so we can simply commit those changes. So we will call it as a first commit. So this now snapshot has been saved for this current status. Now we can start writing the code. Let's start writing the code. So for here we have to import the diagrams first of all. So from diagrams, okay, from diagrams import cluster. Okay, and because cluster means like, let's say if you want to group certain things, so you can keep it as a cluster. And then there is a main class which we normally call as diagram. Okay, so right now as you can see it is showing some that, okay, it is not being installed. So you can just on the extreme right, actually extreme right, you will click on the like what environment that you are using, so you can mention all those things. So you may have to search a bit here. Okay, so you can see this is python.exe file is here, so we can just select that and you can see this is gone now. So now it is able to recognize this. Okay, so we have imported the diagram here, and now we can make use of that diagram to create certain things. So in order to, we have this context manager. Okay, so that is with the help of diagram. Okay, so now we need to pass some information. First of all, some information means that, okay, you need to pass certain details. Let me just do it here. So we will be passing that, okay, what is the name of the diagram that we are going to use. So it's just an example. So we are creating, and then we have to tell that, okay, what is the file name. And it is not important to write the file name, otherwise it will just simply creates this image in the same folder. Okay, otherwise you can simply mention that, okay, where the folders you want. So let's say we want to have a folder called as diagrams where all the things will be mentioned, and in that you can mention the file name. Okay, and you don't have to mention any extension here, so it will automatically pick the extension, png extension by default. And then you, I think this is all. Okay, this is the basics that you can give. And then based on that, you can simply, now after that, let's say if you want to create any cluster or anything, so you can start creating in this one. Okay, and if I just write past and if I run this, so it will not throw any error. And so in order to run this code, you have to first of all activate the environment. So conda activate env, and now we can try to run this python and then main.py. Okay, it is actually in the source folder. So if I do this, so you can see it has actually created an example. Okay, and it is also able to show me that, okay, this is just an example it is able to print, okay, because there's nothing in there. And if you just look here, so it is in the diagrams folder, there's example.png is now getting created. So this is a very simple thing that we have done as of now. Now we have to do is we have to import all the like important the components that we are going to connect. So we need to import them. So let me import that. I have already have the code base for that. So I will just copy it and I will paste it here so that we can do it a lot of things quickly. So you can see here, all of them have this AWS. From diagrams, we have AWS package. Inside that we have storage, ML. So it is actually organized into several things like analytics for mobile. So from storage, we definitely have simple storage service S3. Okay, we have to call that class. And then for ML, we have SageMaker class. In compute, we have Lambda definitely. And then in mobile, we have API gateway. And in analytics, we have Kinesis data, Firehose, and Quickstart. So we have to connect them one by one. So what we have to do is we will call all of them one by one, right? So first of all, let's create an object of it. So API gateway, and we have to give certain other name for this. Okay, and here it will be API gateway, and then you can pass some name inside it. Let's say it is going to be, it's Amazon API gateway. Okay, in a similar way, we have just now created this, right? So we can, if I just run the code, so you will see the changes now. You can see it's just only one component is now been added into the diagram, right? So in a similar way, what we will do is we will do for the all components. Okay, so for that, again, I have written the code, so I will just copy it and I will paste it here so that we can save some time. Okay, so yeah, so we have this. So now if I run this, so let me, so you can see model and data bucket. So I've given different name for simple storage service. So we have two simple storage service, three S3 two service. One is for model and data bucket, another one is results bucket. And then we have Lambda function, and then we have the kinesis. So we have all these objects now created. So let's again run this. If I run this, so you can see it will be arranging in this order, but actually it is not yet connected, right? All of them are there, but it's not yet connected. So we will connect them one by one. Okay. So if you look at the diagram here, so we have these SageMaker, okay, endpoints, and they are actually inside one box. Okay, so that box is actually can be created by creating it as a cluster. So we have to, in order to call that and write that cluster, so we have to write like a with statement with cluster, and we have to mention that, okay, what cluster you want to name as. So I will call it as a, let's say, fraud detection. Okay, and that is the name of the cluster. And inside that cluster, I will again give one new name that is, let's say, XGBoost. Okay, and XGBoost is going to be an endpoint of, say, SageMaker. Okay, and here we can mention XGBoost again. Okay, so if I now try to run this again, so you will see it is going to create one cluster, like you can see there's a blue box. It says that, okay, fraud detection. Okay, and the name is actually given as XGBoost. So just like that, what we will do is we will create it for the for anomaly detection as well. So I will mention that here. So just like that, we will create it for random forest as well. Okay, and in the same way, what we will do is, if you just look at the diagram, so this Amazon quick site is also a kind of there, and it's a part of an optional one. Okay, you don't have to, it's not necessary to add, so they have written as an optional. So what I have to do is, like, I will add that as a, also add as a cluster. Okay, so I will just again for that as well, we have a cluster called as optional, and this is going to have an Amazon quick site. Now, if I again run this, so you will see that, okay, all of them are now added, okay, but they are not still connected yet, right? So now we can make connections. So the first thing that we can do is we need that, okay, if we just look at the graph here, so model bucket is actually connected to both the like this random forest as well as XGBoost. and XGBoost, these two are also connected with AWS Lambda as well, right? So what I will do is and you can also see that, okay, they are connected simultaneously, right, to the same thing. So we can group them together. So to group them together, we have to create a list, okay, of them. So, and we can make use of this. So here this double arrows, okay, or you can say double greater than sign, is actually saying that, okay, from left to right, make a connection. So you have to make connection with a group of things, okay. So we have the random forest as well as XGBoost, which are the instance of SageMaker. So we have now connected them, and they are in turn from right to left, it is connected with the help of Lambda function. Okay, so Lambda function is connected. So now if I run this, so you can see now they are connected, right? And they're actually directly connected. They are not actually, there is no curve method is here. So, okay, so in order to give some curve there, so what you can do is in this, like in this argument, then you have given a diagram class. So you have to give one more, and that is called as curve. Okay, that is called as curve style. Okay, curve style. And by default is actually it's having an orthogonal, so you can make it curve. So if I run this, so you will see that there's a curve is made now, right? Okay, it's not a straight line now, so we can make use of that. Now one more thing that you will see in the diagram, that, okay, they actually it's like if you just look into the diagram, so there's two arrows, like one is going from the lambda to a random forest, and so we can, what we can do is we can again simply copy paste this in the next line, and we can make, instead of this, we can make it a from left to right connection as well. So this will actually give a connection on both the side. Okay, so now after that, so we will have this information. Now from API Lambda, we have AWS Lambda, we have like inputs going to the Amazon Kinesis data fire hose, then results bucket, and then Amazon Quickstart. So we can make use of that as in a single line. So from Lambda function, we can connect to Kinesis, and then we can connect to results. Okay, results bucket. Okay, so I think we did not create, right? I think we have created results bucket, right? So we can make use of that results bucket, and then results bucket is now connected to QS, that is Quickstart. And in a similar way, we have from Lambda functions again, was actually connected by, from left to right is connected by, from right to left actually is connected to API gateway. Okay, API underscore gateway. So now if I run this, so you can see now we have all the connections. Okay, this is, but they are not a part of a bigger cluster, that is AWS cloud. So if I want to put them all into an AWS cloud, so what I have to do is I have to move all these things inside a cluster, right? So I will call it here that, okay, with cluster, and the name of the cluster is going to be, this is going to be AWS cloud. Okay, and everything inside that is going to move to, like this, is going to move inside this, right, in under this cluster. So in this way we will have all of them in a same, like it will actually create a group of them, or again a cluster of this. So let me run this again. Okay, I think there was an issue here, so you can see name actually, so it doesn't comes here. Okay, yeah, we can simply pass it as a norm. So if I run this again, so you can see now we have the exact same diagram that we were looking for. Okay, so this is, so this was a very simple example. Okay, so I hope you have got the idea that, okay, how you can create these kind of diagrams by using the diagrams library. Okay, so that is why it is called as diagram as a code. So till now what we have done is we can commit these changes. We can say that, okay, what is the final commit? So I hope you have enjoyed the session and you have liked this diagrams library. Maybe you can use it to creating your own architectures, and it is going to be very fun because it's easy, right? Easy to write code, especially for the coders. So you don't have to spend too much. Okay, you just have to think about how they're connected. You can keep the clusters, create the diagram, make the connection in the easiest possible way, as you can see here. And that's all. That's all. You can get the example like this. Okay, so you can even check here. So then we have, let's sync the changes to the remote repository, and that's all. So that's the end of this tutorial. So we will see more quick start in the same playlist in the upcoming session. Till then, keep on learning, keep on exploring. Thank you all.